I bet you this girl is speaking English. My name is Tony. Well, I want to ask you, what is this?
Ciruelas.
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 Ciruelas. And it's dolce. It's sweet.
Is this for you too?
Sí.
Is that fine? Is it good?
It's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Supongo.
Yeah, so is it... Okay. Uno, dos, tres. Oh, it's not so sweet. It's more sour.
Like you
No, it's like a plum.
No.
Have you ever met a woman that was so incredible, so beautiful, so charming, so sexy, that just thinking about her blew your heart wide open? Now, let me make a guess. Unless you married that girl, you probably fucked it up. My first love was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen. She came to my high school to play volleyball, and she would run around in circles, and I would just watch her mesmerized at those long legs, that soft skin. And when she laughed, it lit up the whole room. Roses fell from the sky. My heart fluttered like a butterfly. And I actually found the balls to go and ask her out. It took a few months, and I had to infiltrate her social circle by pretending to be someone who I totally wasn't. But when I got in front of her, I said, "Hey, how would you like to date me?" And she went, "Yeah, okay." I felt like I'd won the lottery. So every day after school, I would go to her house and we would study, which meant me basically exploring every part of her beautiful body, squeezing her breasts, sucking on her neck, getting her to make out with me. And she would always sort of say, "Hey, Tony, I really got to study. Can you give me some space?" But I wasn't able to give her space. And I actually felt like when she said that, like she was rejecting me. And so I would go home and I would call her, because we didn't have texting yet, but I'd call her like, "Hey, is everything okay? How are you doing?" And I'd want to talk to her on the phone for hours, even when I had just come from her place. I just couldn't get enough of her. I wanted more and more of this girl. And so it didn't take long for her to dump me. I lasted 2 months with this girl, and I never slept with her. I was still a virgin. I learned a lot from this because it really set the course for the rest of my dating life. I'm sure you admire a woman's beauty, you admire the shape of her body, and you think it's a magical playland just meant for you to run all over and explore. And by all means, if she's giving you her body, have a good time with it. That's what she wants as well. But there's something to be said about withholding your physical attention. When you pull back your physical attention, it signals to her unconscious brain that this man enjoys my body, but he doesn't need my body. Trust me, I know how amazing the female body is. From her toes to the top of her head. I just love exploring every part of it, and I'm sure you do too. However, when you put that much emphasis on her body and exploring her body with things like cuddling, holding her close, always needing to hold her hand, play with her fingers, and give her this attention, it doesn't signal that you care about her or that you're like an excellent loving guy. It actually signals weakness. Your woman should always be coming to you for attention. She should be leaning up on you. She should be giving you kisses on the cheek. She should be trying to get your physical attention. And when she does, then you can reward her with some physical attention. That doesn't mean after sex you don't cuddle, or if you're watching a movie you don't hold her close. What it means is that you're not putting so much emphasis on her physical body all the time, because it subconsciously communicates that you're not used to female bodies and that it's something special, and that her body is so special to you because you just don't know female bodies. It signals a sense of scarcity to her, that you might be scarce. She always has to feel like she's special, but not more special than her man. Her man needs to be a rock in the ocean where she's the wave crashing across your rock, trying to get the attention of the rock, trying to say, "Look at me, I'm an ocean." But you're still a rock, you're still a man, and her body can't be enough to distract you from your own masculine interests. So even though you want to touch her, you want to play with her body, just try to save it for special occasions, for when you really want to emphasize a point about her sexuality. You can reach out and give her a squeeze on the thigh. You can pull her in for a passionate kiss, but don't make it an all day long sort of occurrence. Otherwise, it just becomes stale and it becomes needy and sort of icky. Women are super competitive, and when you withhold physical affection, it signals in her brain that you must be getting that physical affection somewhere else. And even if you're not, it still subcommunicates that to her, and she always needs to feel like you are just out of her reach emotionally, physically, and so that she has to work for your attention. So if she's a little bit jealous, this is actually healthy for the relationship. You don't want her going insane, obviously, and being a crazy person, destroying the house because she thinks you're having an affair. It doesn't mean rejecting her when she wants to be affectionate with you, but it just means you need to show a little bit of restraint when it comes to the amount of physical affection you give her, because for your relationship, it's going to be more healthy. If she has to fight for your attention a little bit, she has to dress a little bit sexier, she has to be a little bit more submissive to you to get your attention. Because if she doesn't have to work for it, if she's free, she's not going to value the time that you have together. So here's the other trait that will scare beautiful women away. That's being too available, being ready to be with her all the time. It signals that you're putting her in this position of power where everything in your life will revolve around her. And as romantic as that sounds, it's subconsciously communicating to her that you're a low value guy without options, that you don't have a life, you don't have shit going on. Whenever I have a girlfriend, I've learned from my mistakes that if I spend all my time with them, if I say, hey, you should move in with me, especially when you're traveling, like backpacking around the world, and you meet women and you're together all the time, what happens is you start to get annoyed with each other. She'll start testing you more. She'll start acting out. She'll start disrespecting you around other people. She'll lose attraction for you. And it's strange because you're spending so much time together. Shouldn't you be growing in experiences? Yeah, totally. But you also start to get annoyed, and it demonstrates you have nothing else to do except be with her. It shows that there's no threat of other women stealing you from her. And this doesn't trigger her female competitiveness. It doesn't trigger any feelings of jealousy or self-doubt. And as bad as that sounds, these are actually really good in the relationship. Well, it's bad for you as a man to show these traits, jealousy, neediness, self-doubt. It's good to have her show that because she's in market demand. She has higher sexual market value, and she's got guys all the time that are going to be hitting on her, hitting her up in DMs, and trying to steal her from you. If you are also unavailable, it signals to her that, hey, maybe this guy has women blowing up his DMs. Maybe he has other options. I better work a little bit harder for his attention. And she's going to value you by how much work she has to do to keep your interest. Because a man with options, a man who's attractive to other women, he's not going to be available all the time. He's going to, well, think about it. If he's cheating, he's really not going to be available. It doesn't mean you need to cheat on your woman, but you want to signal that the possibility is there for you to be with other women, and this is going to turn her on. If you don't believe me, then you just don't know women. I had a girlfriend. She was like a 10 out of 10, man. She was a babe, and she would constantly test me. I remember the first time we went out to a bar together, and she was being kind of a bitch that day because I must have been failing some of her tests. I don't really know, but she was being rather rude, testy, annoying me. And she said, you know what? Why don't you go talk to some other women? I'd like to see that as like a shit test. And yeah, so I said, sure. And that might seem like I was jumping through her hoops, but what I did is I just walked around the bar and I started talking to every attractive woman in the bar, because I knew that because I had walked in with my hot girlfriend, all the other women were going to be open to it. I saw it like a get out of jail free card. And when I came back to her, instead of her being jealous, she was all over me. She was leaning on me and she was like, yeah, actually, I really liked that. I found that super hot. She was so impressed by me showing that I had options, that I could pick up other women. And honestly, if you're an attractive, high quality guy, I don't mean attractive in the sense that you have to be jacked or have a square jawline or lots of money, but if you've got game, you've got some riz, you should have other options. You will have other options. And if she knows that, if she's not a totally insecure woman, if she has some self-confidence, she's going to feel proud that she has a guy with options, and even more proud if you choose to be with her rather than all these other women. This doesn't take into account if you're a guy that dates multiple women, which you know, I usually have multiple women going on when I'm in that dating mode, when I'm not in the monk zone. Anyway, guys, if you want to know how to improve your skill with women, I have a free course on opening. It's how you can create your own openers so you're not just going direct all the time. It's right down in the description below. It's the Creative Openers course, and it'll blow your mind how powerful an indirect opener will be over a direct opener. You have to check it out. Grab it. It's free. You also get access to my free community with all the other men who are in my tribe, and they will help you with any questions you have about attraction, picking up girls, having relationships, getting in shape, anything you need. It's free. Click it, and I'll see you in the next video.